This is Radar from the Entertainment Blog coming at you with another edition of Movie Reviews Observations number 201. First movie I watched was a movie called Spoonful of Sugar. And someone writes on there, imagine Mary Poppins breakneck twisting into the darkness of Orphan. Well, this thing was horribly written together. Too much coincidences that she's a serial killer. And too much coincidence that the boy that she's watching and the parents have people die and they bury them all the time, and it's very cliche that the father slept with the babysitter, blah 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 blah. It's like really stupid, and the only good actor in this movie was the social worker, like the psychiatrist therapist, because I've seen him before. I don't know where, but I've seen him before, and overall just was just weird and stupid, because the plot is, oh, she's a college student studying kids with allergies, but again, pretending to be a college kid, but she's really in high school. Just really all over the place in this movie. So, not a good movie. Then I watched the movie Scrapper, and apparently it won something at Sundance Film Festival last year for Dramatic World Cinema Grand Jury Prize. And this movie is slightly better than the last one. Also a lot shorter, 80-something minutes, so it's very quick. It's literally this like 12-year-old girl in London. She's just living on her own after her mother died and trying to do everything her mother did. And she's got this friend who's nice, and they go on adventures, and the way she supports herself is she like steals bikes and gives them to this other person, but apparently all of a sudden her biological dad shows up and she's got to adjust to living with her father, and she doesn't want that because she likes living alone, but like it may be good for her that there's somebody around, even if it's a degenerate like him who didn't want to be a father, because again, stealing bikes can only get you so far. So it's more of a dramedy more than a comedy, because they're trying to figure out how to work together and stuff and find a good rhythm together, because then she eventually realizes, oh, she may really need him in life and not have him. So it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was at least a lot better than A Spoonful of Sugar. Then I watched the movie Shortcomings, what Randall Park made, and he also appeared in it. And it's based off a graphic novel, so there's vignettes in the movie that come on the screen, so yes. And Rotten Tomatoes gives it a certified fresh, and I'm just like, okay, cool. So sometimes that could be good and sometimes could be bad. Sometimes I agree with it and sometimes I don't. But yeah, Ali Mackey, Justin M, H. Min, and Sherry Cola, and Debbie Ryan from, like the days of Disney Channel on Suite Life of Cody, she was on it. So the plot is basically someone who works in film, another person who wants to be in film. They've been dating for years. They live together. They have all these arguments. He's got his issue. She's got her issue. He's got a best friend who's so far I've seen in this girls trip movie with the other Asian girls, because they've made like a white girl trip movie, a black girl, girls trip movie, and an Asian one. It was pretty funny. And in that one, she was also promiscuous and not straight. In this one, she was like the gay friend of this guy. And, she also has her own issues. And the whole movie is like his own personal problems, his views on the world. But I kind of relate a little bit to him because he was someone who just sits there and likes to watch movies and is all obsessed about watching TV shows and movies. But that was like the only thing I kind of related to in that movie. And again, his girlfriend says she's going to go move away. So he's like, well, what am I going to do when she's gone? So he starts exploring his dating life a little bit, even though he still wants to be with her. And then he does the whole, I'm going to go fly to New York and maybe surprise her sort of thing, because his gay friend decides, I don't want to be here in LA and everyone's moving to New York. And there's a whole adventure in New York and things like that, and trying to win her back and that sort of thing, and finding it out that maybe, a lot of people do have shortcomings. So it was a good title, kind of fit with it in a way. And yeah, it was barely 90 minutes. It was pretty good. Then I watched the movie Wrong Reasons. And apparently the guy who made this movie is famous for making documentaries, but he also made documentaries for Kevin Smith-related projects. And he decided he wanted to get into making a regular movie. Kevin Smith spoke before the movie to give you a little introduction about the actor and all their method acting and trying to get into it. And so he produced it, and he has a brief cameo in the movie. The guy playing like the detective in this movie, I've seen him before, but he's like an actor turned detective, and he's not really good at being a detective. And like his boss, I've seen before on 911, and this movie's about a supposed Australian singer who's got a boyfriend, and she goes missing, and someone kidnaps her, and it's all about the investigation, and also into the person who kidnapped her. And it wasn't the best well-written movie, and it was what Kevin Smith said. It's like a regular punk rock indie movie, and apparently this woman learned how to play music and wrote songs for the movie. And of course, Kevin Smith also cast his daughter, Harley Quinn Smith, in the movie. And it just was not a great movie because the main character, the woman who gets kidnapped, she literally, the whole entire, let's see exactly how long this is, whole entire like 90-something minutes of this movie, she comes in and out of her Australian accent. So method acting of learning how to play music and writing songs for the movie. Learn how to keep yourself in an Australian accent for the whole movie. And David Koechner has a brief cameo, and he's pretty funny in that brief cameo. And yeah, it was just overall, oh, he's an actor turned cop. So like there are a lot of scenes where his boss or someone calls him and he's sleeping with a girl. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. And it was okay. It wasn't great. So sorry to Kevin Smith and wanting to produce this movie because he's a fan of the guy making documentaries, but stick to documentary. This was not really that great. Then I watched The Prisoner's Daughter with Kate Beckinsale and Brian Cox. And normally, the Skokie Public Library usually has the movies that you want to watch. Not every movie is good because you learn that by watching movies or reading reviews or watching people review movies and stuff. And usually when I get movies from partner libraries or interloan libraries, those are usually like the movies that are like on the end of the crack of the list of movies that, there's no need to actually have in the first place. Like, there's no need for like a regular library to have them. They would probably be best straight to DVD, streaming movie. And this one, surprisingly, was better than I thought it was going to be because normally that's what happens when I get these movies. And it was very, very good cast. Ernie Hudson, he's in the movie. John Huertas is in the movie. And obviously I mentioned Kate Beckinsale and Brian Cox. It's basically she's a struggling single mother with a degenerate ex-husband who's a drug addict. And the son loves the father but doesn't understand all the consequences. He's epileptic. He's getting picked on for being epileptic. And one thing I did not like that I kind of agree with, the woman who played the principal, I've seen her before. I think she's the husband of the captain in The Rookie. But as I said, I recognized a lot of people in this movie from, as I said, John Huertas being the warden and Ernie Hudson being the friend and, recognizing the principal and stuff. But the principal makes a statement like, we have a zero tolerance policy for fighting. It doesn't matter who was in the fight, but the kid got in trouble for getting beat up. It's nice they have a policy about fights and people getting into fights. They did not have that when I was a kid. And I certainly would not agree if I was the mother too and she was angry that my son got beat up. He's got to get suspended. That's just stupid if that's a real thing or not, but that's pretty dumb because it happened to me before. I got beat up in high school one time, and guess what? They gave the two of us the same exact in-school suspension, and we were in the same room together. That is just stupid. Now, in this movie, she's struggling. She's working all these jobs. Her ex-husband's causing her problems with the job. And her father, obviously, has been in and out of prison because he's, supposedly this great boxer. And he's been, a hitman, and he's been, an enforcer for these shady people. And she wants nothing to do with him. But, of course, he wants to reconcile with her because he finds out that he's dying. And he could be granted release to live with her and stuff if she agrees to it. And it's good for them because they're bringing back all the good things that were in life. But then there's all the negatives and stuff. And he's, really helping the grandson. And overall, it's you want things to work out, but in the end, because he says he's terminally ill and he's going to die, it's going to happen. It's just obvious. But it's still a little sad when he does die, because you're like, well, that sucks he died. And Ernie Hudson teaches the kid to box, which is pretty cool in the movie. And, yeah, I liked it. I'm just surprised that the Skokie Library doesn't actually have this one, and the library in Libertyville does. And the last note is, Tyson Ryder, I'm a huge fan of your music. All American Rejects, whatnot. but you play a lot of bit roles in movies that are like straight to DVD, not well known, and then you play just bad role, and you're just not a great actor. Playing a drug addict musician is really dead on, because we all know he's battled some drug issues, and he's a musician. So you're literally playing yourself in a way. Same thing with that movie that had, I think, Drew Barrymore and the woman, I forgot her name, but she played the mobster boss lady in that movie where she inherited the mantle recently. Forgot her name, but like he played someone who was obsessed with women with deficiency, with like deformities, like not Drew Barrymore, but her friend in the movie, because of breast cancer, lost her boobs, and he's like, oh, I love that. I love women with the thing. And he's just playing weirdos and stuff like that. It's just like, maybe just stick to music, because it would be nice to have a new All-American Reject CD. That would be pretty cool. He's just not, as I said, a good actor. His wife, though, she can act, but he cannot. But also barely 100 minutes, this movie. So thanks again for listening to another movie review observation number 201. I will say this. Do not watch A Spoonful of Sugar. Not that great. Do not watch Wrong Reasons either. Maybe watch Scrapper, but yeah, at least when it comes to his shortcoming, a lot of people agree that it was a good enough movie to watch and watchable, and The Prisoner's Daughter was pretty good. For On the Red Table Block, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.